Our top focus this Wednesday, unrest in West Bengal's Asansol and 24 North Parghanas over union one-day nationwide strike. Ugly face-off erupted between TMC and CPM workers, with both parties holding parallel rallies. These are pictures that we're getting you from West Bengal. There was a massive crackdown after these protesters clashed with the police. Now, TMC supporters are reportedly opposing this strike that's been called by 10 central trade unions. Pictures on your screens are of CPM workers blocking rail traffic. We're being told that CPM and TMC workers clashed. There was also a crackdown by the police, which resulted in several people being grievously injured. 10 major trade unions have called a Bharat Bandh over the government's proposed business initiatives after talks with Finance Minister Arun Jaitley broke down. 15 crore workers across the country who are a part of 10 central trade unions have called a nationwide strike. These are pictures that we're getting you from Murshidabad in West Bengal, where protesters clashed with the police. These are pictures of policemen carrying injured people who were reportedly injured in the police crackdown, police having to resort to lathi charge as well in certain areas. We're still not certain whether these injured persons received these injuries in clashes that took place between TMC and left workers, or in the police crackdown that followed soon after. And these unions are demanding that the government drop plans to sell off stakes in state-run companies to boost public sector earnings. So police leading protesters away after a massive crackdown by the police. Let's get a word from Manogya Loiwal, who's with us on the phone line. Manogya, dramatic pictures from Murshidabad. The police also carrying people who've been injured. Tell us what exactly happened there. Was there a clash between TMC and left workers, or have these people received injuries in a police crackdown?
Basically, there were two rallies of two different parties at places. Some of them supporting the bandh, the others opposing the strike, and that's the reason when the came face to face, it was almost resulting into a clash. When CPIM and TMC supporters clashed, baffling was the TMC's inaction, rather the police inaction, which stood as a mute spectator for a while. And then, of course, the CPIM former MP as well as other people were arrested, and there was lathi charge where many of them have been grievously injured also.
All right, and Manogya, this strike that's been called by 10 central trade unions affecting West Bengal severely, not just Murshidabad. There are several other areas that have also been badly affected. Reports of clashes between TMC and left workers coming in from different parts of the state.
Well, absolutely. In West Bengal, we've seen that there have been clashes. It was expected and police had prepared accordingly. What is more surprising is that the clashes are paramount in different areas, like especially the villages. The city has been calm till now. There have been arrests made in city at different places of the protesters, but there have been no reports of clashes. As far as the districts are concerned, be it Murshidabad, Asansol, Bardhaman, North 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas, as well as Malda, Murshidabad, all these districts have faced a lot of violence since morning, and it is expected to continue during the day because the rallies of the protesters will continue. They will hit the streets, some of them forcing the shops to shut down, TMC forcing them to open. It's the people who are now caught in a dilemma on what to do exactly today.
And you know, Manogya, not the first instance of violent political clashes that we're witnessing in West Bengal. We'd seen a slight slump in the middle when there was relative peace, when we saw, when there was a short period of time when we didn't see clashes between left workers and TMC workers. Unfortunate the fact that a bandh call has resulted in massive clashes again.
Well, absolutely, it's a tough war. Till now, it has been tough war, but now it's the struggle and the fight for establishing the party, as the party has been in opposition, which has been the regime earlier, and now for the present regime to establish that the opposition cannot do much in the state. Here, it's more of a state fight rather than the only political fight that we see. And even as we talk, there is trouble that has erupted in Bardhaman, Ausgram, where CPIM and TMC clashes have taken place. CPM party office has been set on fire allegedly by TMC people. We told that there has been bombing as well as tear gas has been used in that area. So you expect many more such visuals, more violent visuals during the day, at least on our TV screens.
And Manogya, why is it that you're telling us that most of these clashes are being reported from rural areas?
There are two reasons to it. One, the fight for turf is higher as far as the region, especially the regional parties are concerned. For them, the main vote bank is always the villages and the rural Bengal. For Trinamool Congress or CPIM, as far as the city is concerned, people will prefer staying indoors. People will prefer avoiding their work today, not going to workplaces. The schools have been called off today. In most of the schools have given an off today. But what is more important for villages, there the locality is smaller, people are more interlinked to each other, there is a higher political quotient there, and hence the bigger the fight.
Manogya, please stay on with us. We also have CPI's Atul Anjan on the phone line with us. Mr. Anjan, violent clashes there in different parts of West Bengal. TMC and left workers are engaged in violent clashes. Common people being affected because of this massive turf war that we're seeing on the streets.
Today, more than 10 central trade unions has organized and called a strike. There is economic violence by the union government. The trade union rights and the trade union acts are being under fire. People are being retrenched. There is a lockout. Millions of people have been thrown out of the job. They are desperate. The price rise is out of control.
Mr. Atul Anjan, I understand what you're saying. I understand the reasons behind the ban call. But what we're seeing on the streets is a clash. We're seeing a clash between TMC and left workers.
That is the point the government is trying to do, that they are nothing to do with that, and they are trying to say that the workers should not go on a strike. But the question is, the state as a whole has started economic violence on the people. The people are on the street to resist it. Throughout the country there is strike. Somewhere they are not joining them. The banks are closed, the general insurance is closed, the public sector units are closed, even the Maruti is closed, Honda is closed in Delhi. Everywhere auto rickshaws and taxi wallahs are out of the street. So this is the violence. It is people are protesting against the economic violence. The trade union rights are being affected. The peasants are supporting this struggle because there is a land acquisition bill is there. They are facing an acute crisis. No government is coming to extend the support. Subsidies are withdrawn on the agriculture. So there is a panic in the society.
All right, Mr. Atul Anjan, thanks so much for speaking to India Today. Let's also get a word from Mohammed Salim of the CPM, who's with us on the phone line. Mohammed Salim, we're seeing violent clashes between TMC and left workers. Now, we do understand that there is a strike that's underway, a Bharat Bandh that's been called by 10 central workers union. But why these violent clashes? This is basically a turf war that's playing out.
Yeah, industrial strike. Throughout the country, the working class, they are in action. But unfortunately, in Bengal, you see, Mamata Banerjee's government is trying to prove themselves more loyal than the king. The Modi government also opposed it. Mamata government also is opposing. But it's not a clash. It's a reign of terror unleashed by the Trinamool Congress goons and somewhere even by police, the uniformed goons of Mamata Banerjee. And they are lathi charging indiscriminately, arresting our people. It's a democratic right.
So, Mohammed Salim, you're saying that the police is also acting in a partisan manner. You're saying that the lathi charge is basically targeted at left workers?
Yes, you'll see, if you ask your correspondent, you'll show the footage. Trinamool goons are moving with hockey sticks, bombs and rods openly. Police is the custodian. And on the other hand, when the girls are organizing, women are organizing processions, they are getting arrested. So you can see, this is not a partisan approach of Trinamool goons and the police. What else? And Mamata Banerjee has deliberately done it. She issued the threat that she can manage this show with 1 minute warning. And that is what they are doing. But they cannot prevent strikes. They cannot foil the strikes. And they cannot stop the march of the people who are marching ahead.
Right, but Mohammed Salim, I also want to find out, this is not a one-sided, we're not seeing one group being targeted. There's stone pelting that's being reported from the other side as well.
You see, your correspondent is there. They will report you.
Yes, but we're also playing out visuals, sir. We're playing out visuals of left workers also throwing stones at the police.
It's a self-defense is the right of everyone. Either you want them to be killed.
All right, and are you likely to take this up with the state government? Because see, if you are able to watch India Today, we've got pictures of left workers assaulting people with the CPM flags.
No, I don't think, because it's nothing to do with CPIM. It's a trade union organizations, and almost all trade unions, barring the BJP affiliated and the Trinamool affiliated trade unions, they are having this action. And let us extend its support. And since morning, you see, since morning what's happening, wherever these workers are putting this blockade, wherever they are observing this ban, the police and the goods are attacking. And somewhere, some places, maybe sporadic violence is there, but from the district reports are there, Malda, Murshidabad, North Dinajpur, South Dinajpur, Bardhaman, Asansol, Calcutta, Yadavpur, Salt Lake. Since morning we are getting this information, how this violence is unleashed by the Trinamool goons and the police.
All right, Mr. Salim, please stay on the phone line with us. We also have Manogya Loiwal with us, our correspondent. Manogya, you know, Mohammed Salim is making an important point. He's saying that if, and we can make that out by looking at these pictures as well, the police seems to be moving along with TMC protesters. I will try and reconnect with Manogya Loiwal. These are dramatic pictures that we're getting you from Murshidabad in West Bengal, where violent clashes are being reported between TMC and left workers. Mohammed Salim, thanks so much for speaking to India Today. Let's also get in a word from Siddharthnath Singh of the BJP, who's with us on the phone line. Siddharthnath Singh, your reaction?
Well, it's unfortunate that this kind of lawlessness is happening in West Bengal. And certainly there are the two parties which are the mirror image of each other, the CPIM and TMC. Both are the mirror image. What was being practiced by CPIM, now it is being practiced by TMC. And that the CPIM sponsored, the left sponsored bunch. And the kind of violence that we are seeing, particularly in Murshidabad, is astonishing. And it just goes to show to the level where the administration and lawlessness has been brought in West Bengal. So it's very, very unfortunate.
That is Siddharthnath Singh. We also spoke to Mohammed Salim and Atul Anjan, and they're saying that this is basically a case of the TMC trying to show some sort of allegiance to the centre. They're also saying that this was a peaceful protest that was called by left workers. There was no need for clashes to be reported on the ground, and there was no need for TMC workers to be more mobilized in the manner that they have been.
Well, we can play politics on it, but the reality is that it is a left-sponsored, bunch. The administration is in the control of TMC. So, to bring the center into it, where the law and order certainly doesn't belong to the center, it belongs to the state. So one can, accuse, but the reality is there is a kind of a psyche which has been built up over the period, which was under the left rule and now under the TMC, which is leading to this kind of unrest which we are seeing in West Bengal. So a character has been built up of political workers. This is very unfortunate, and this leads to a kind of violence, hooliganism, and a jungle raj in West Bengal.
All right, Siddharthnath Singh, thanks so much for speaking to India Today. This is the big developing story that we're tracking. Massive protests being reported between left and TMC workers in West Bengal. Pictures on your screens are from Murshidabad, where violent clashes were reported between TMC and left workers. Police also resorting to lathi charge and tear gas shells to control mob. Several people have been injured. These are pictures of the police crackdown, mostly on left party workers. We're seeing them carry those red CPM flags. Trade unions, 10 major trade unions have called for a nationwide strike. These trade unions across the country have close to 15 crore workers. Most affected seems to be West Bengal, where violent clashes are being reported between TMC and left workers. TMC workers are opposing this Bandh call that's been called by trade unions. Violent clashes being reported from various parts of West Bengal between TMC and left workers. Violent clashes are being reported from Murshidabad, Malda, North and South 24 Parghanas, Also from parts of Kolkata, we're being told that TMC and left workers have been clashing over this Bandh call that's been given out by 10 major central trade unions. Was affected other states of West Bengal and Kerala. Banking and transport services have been affected. These are dramatic pictures that we're getting you from Murshidabad, where several people were injured in the police crackdown as well. Manogya is with us on the phone line. Manogya, any response from the state administration? We're seeing violent clashes breaking out between TMC and left workers.
Well, the police administration was almost prepared that there would be violence in different locations, but this kind of violence, and especially stone pelting, besides that there has been so much of violence as far as different districts are concerned. Murshidabad has almost turned into a battleground with CPIM and TMC clashing between each other. Initially the police was a mute spectator. They did turn the battleground then. They did start arresting people. Most of the CPIM supporters have been arrested today in different parts of the state. That includes Asansol, Bardhaman, Malda, Murshidabad, North 24 Parghanas, South 24 Parghanas, and also there has been a lot of impact as far as the city is concerned. There has been a turnaround as far as the city is concerned, because most of the people who've been protesting for CPIM supporters who have been arrested at various intervals in the city also. So you see that these kind of protests will continue during the day, especially the CPIM demanding the shops to be shut down, and on the contrary TMC demanding the shops to remain open. So it's the common man who is in a dilemma now.
Common man in the dilemma, but Manogya, also tell us any statement being issued by the TMC in West Bengal. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has time and again said that she's against political clashes, but on the ground we see a very different story play out.
Well, absolutely. There were several promises made by the state government. They did promise that buses will ply normally, which did not happen today. As far as the number of state government buses are concerned, that has been normal. But the private buses, which are the main players, more than 20,000 private buses ply across the street. And if that number is to be counted, they are not on the streets. That will give the passengers a harrowing time. The metro has been the only pace saver as far as the travel for the commuters are concerned. The yellow taxis are not to be seen on the streets. There have been promises from the transport department of the West Bengal also stating that there would be all the buses that would be plying on the streets. Did not happen that way. Railways has been affected massively, especially the EMUs and the other local trains that rush from one place to the other, especially across the state, that connect the intercities and especially the smaller towns of the state. And there has been a delay as far as the mail express trains are concerned. Even these are being delayed now.
Well, let's say saying that transport also affected. Essential services across the country have been affected after 10 central trade unions called for a nationwide strike. Manogya, can you take us through some of the key demands that these trade unions have put forth?
Well, they've demanded a minimal wage of 15,000 per month. They have also been demanding that the impact that they have on the livelihood, especially of the people of the lower strata who they claim to represent, have not been given the desired rights, and the kind of number of taxis, vehicles and the licenses that are being given to the private players, which has been on a huge rise in the past few months, be it the private players like Ola, Meru and other private cabs, which are plying at a lower rate, which is making the 25 rupee minimum fare for the yellow taxi attainable very difficult as far as the autos also. So it's a clash between TMC and CPM also. It's more of a fight between these two political parties who've been trying for their own existence in the state. One the present regime, one the past regime, both of them fighting it out at different level. Not only a turf war, but also the fight for establishing and sustaining.
Right, and Manogya also spoke to some left leaders who said that this is Mamata Banerjee basically showing some sort of allegiance to policies announced by the Modi government.
Well, absolutely. It's all about politics and you cannot ignore that. But there have been talks that Trinamool Congress has taken a soft stand after Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he did promise a few points for the state. She has been saying that she is doing it for the development of the state and for the better administrative policies in the state. However, the opposition, which is the CPIM here in Bengal, has been claiming that it's not just about basic politics, but also about the funds that have been coming from the central government that has helped the state. But beyond that, there are also talks that the two parties have been in talks with each other. despite being vocal against each other and very deliberately out and open, the differences out and open, but then there's always a lot more to it than what meets the eye in politics.
Absolutely. Manogya Loiwal there getting us the latest on this developing story from West Bengal. Violent clashes being reported from different parts of the state, including Murshidabad, Malda, Asansol, North and South 24 Parghanas. Manogya, you're also telling us that most of these protests are being reported and clashes are being reported from rural areas.
Well, absolutely. Rural area is where the turf war continues, where there is the major fight of establishment between TMC and CPIM. Remember, there are elections next year, so this strike will also establish the revival of CPIM in the state on how strong they are, because the last week that we saw, there were lathi charge on the supporters who had gone for a Navanno Abhijan. That means they were heading towards the state secretariat. When they were stopped in between, there was immense lathi charge. There were several supporters who were injured, including Left Front Chairman Viman Bose also, who was injured. So besides that, now it's time for them to establish themselves as a stronger party, that they have not faded away with their support in the state. They are still as strong as they were. This is the time for them to establish, and that is why there is violence in different states. But remember, rural belt is always the strength of any political party, especially a regional political party. And in West Bengal, it's even more stronger, because any party who comes to power has to retain and maintain that rural power with them to sustain and establish them in the secretariat.
Manogya, thanks so much for that update. We're going to keep coming back to you for more. Situation in West Bengal remains tense after violent clashes have been reported between TMC and left workers. Manogya Loiwal, they're getting us the latest on the ground, saying most of these clashes are being reported from rural areas. We'll keep getting you more updates. And